Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 655. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside,
Ahoy.
and Tony Korkanakis.
We really are the Final Fantasy. True quote from the game.
Oh my god.
True quote.
When you
No,
said
I'm
it, I
joking.
knew it.
I'm joking.
Oh god. When you said, I'm like, please tell me that wasn't Jim
Flashbacks
Gass.
of Will Smith.
When you said, I was like, oh, please,
What are we,
God,
some
no.
kind of Suicide Squad?
So, how is Final Fantasy? Did you finish it yet or no?
Oh, if we're just jumping right into it? Yeah, I finished it. In true Final Fantasy fashion, the last 10, 15, 20% or whatever like that just kind of goes off the rails with the story. You're just like,
Did it really? Didn't it do it last game? 15 did that.
they always do this. They always do this. But like this,
I
it's
thought
just...
they learned.
Yeah.
You would think so too. You would think.
Mm.
But I don't know if it's a hallmark of the series at this point, but like there's a certain point where one of the secondary antagonist is just talking, and it's one of those villain, monologues or something like that. And me, the player, watching this cutscene, I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you even talking about? And in the game, the main character, Clive, goes, what are you even talking about? And I was just like, I was like, I cannot believe the main character just mirrored what I was thinking. Because I'm like, I literally was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Like, we just need to fight. Like, I don't care about this. We just need to fight right now. So yeah, like, it's really weird because the whole thing was they were like talking about having a grounded story set in a medieval fantasy. Obviously, Game of Thrones is a huge inspiration for this game, but it just doesn't work when you're talking about like turning into like basically elemental kaiju that are like throwing nuclear blasts at each other and stuff like that. And it just devolves really weird. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be bothered by it, but I kind of was. Because, like, imagine if, like, at the pinnacle of Game of Thrones, like, Jon Snow just turns into a giant fire demon and fights God. Like, that is the equivalent that what happens in... Right. No, I'm not even joking. Like, this is the equivalent of what happens in this fucking game. And it's just, like, it's so weird tonally and stuff like that. And also, I had a game-breaking glitch. I was very mad. So, fighting the last boss, and what I assumed was the last phase of the boss, come out of the cutscene for it, because obviously you have to have a cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm moving the character, I'm moving Clive around, but none of my attack buttons are working. Jump button is working, so I can jump.
Mm-hmm.
Ability buttons aren't working. Item buttons aren't working. I'm like, oh, is this scripted? Like, do I need to touch something on the arena? Do I need to wait? Like, is this a certain time thing before my abilities get unlocked again or something like that? And I died. And this is the most I've ever died in this game, by the way. I died like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, no, this is not right. Like, something is wrong here. So I'm Googling it. I'm just like, is this intentional? Like, I'm like, Googling, like, how to fight back in the last phase and stuff like that. And nobody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm just like, okay, like, fine, you got me. I'm going to restart this fight from the last checkpoint or whatever like that. So, of course, it sends me back to phase 1, which I've already done. This is like 20 minutes ago at this point. Same thing happens. I cannot attack. I can't use abilities. I was just like, okay, what the fuck happened here? So now I have to do a full reboot of the PS5. And by the way, it's not like I instantly jump back into the fight. You had to do this long fucking hallway walk, it's like slow walk with another character, having some dialogue right before the final battle. Right. So I'm just like,
get all that loading done.
I'm just like, oh my god, like please, why did it have to happen now? So I finally get back to where I am, and I go through the couple phases, and I'm like wincing before this last phase again. I'm like, I swear to God, if you don't load, I'm not beating this game. I'm fucking going to GameStop and I'm trading this in tomorrow. And thankfully, it didn't. But I was just like, holy shit. I even recorded it, so I have video proof that this happened to me. So I'm not going to try to hold it against the game, but man,
That's frustrating.
It is so frustrating. But that's kind of my experience with this game, because like for every one thing I love about it, there's something that is equally as frustrating. And like I said, the past couple weeks, there is a amazing 10 to 15 hour game in here. But it's a 30 to 40 hour game. And it's everything else about it is just like kind of meh to me. I know a lot of people are happy with it and stuff like that, but to me, I'm just like, I don't want all my quests to be, hey, go talk to the NPC, get the quest, go to another location, talk to another NPC, and then go out into the field and fight some monsters. 'Cause that's literally every single side quest, like verbatim. Like there's no like, oh, I have to do something different right now. It's fight something and kill something. So it's just like, okay, where's the creativity? Where's the diversity here? Blah blah blah. This and the other thing. And the other thing that really bothered me is like the main character Clive is great. He's an amazing character, probably one of the best Final Fantasy protagonists. But he comes at the expense of literally any other character in the game. So like any other character you're seeing in these trailers and stuff like that, or the character artwork, it's like, nah, we don't have our own arcs or anything like that. We just boost our boy Clive up. We're just here to lift him up.
Man.
Yeah,
You're all hype, man.
yeah. It's like Clive, yeah, man, get us out of this and stuff like that. Well, there's one exception, but there's story reasons for that. So I'll leave that to the imagination, stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe 7.5 for me, stuff like that. I would say it's still worth playing at some point down the line. Just to, I mean, if somebody's like, be like, yeah, I'm interested in Final Fantasy or something like that, I'd say, yeah, probably wait for a huge, discount.
Not a game of the year candidate, really.
Not for me. No,
A
there's
solid
no way.
game, but not a game of the year.
We have amazing games this year. There's no way this makes it for me.
Yeah.
Which is
no, there is.
disappointing. Yeah.
So cool. All right. Mike, you've been on for a bit.
So I've sort of hit a little bit of a wall, like with the grindiness of the World Tour and Street Fighter 6. It's very repetitive, and I've gotten to the point where I can start like the sort of very uninteresting spoiler alert. Probably the last thing you do is you enter a tournament. So
No.
but because this is all RPG, I'm not strong enough. Like I get 2 hit and I'm dead. So I have to grind, and I'm like, ugh. And everything is so repetitive at this point, and I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Don't get hit.
Yeah, okay.
Just don't get. Yeah, Jim, like Ganon, right?
I know.
Ganon.
Well,
that was just the first round of this tournament. There's probably at least 4 rounds, so the other guys are probably worse. So I'm like, I can't do this yet. So I don't know. I stalled on it a little. I did play online a little bit. I'm in bronze tier as expected. I won like a handful of matches, but usually lose. I still don't.
Who are you meaning?
I've been bouncing back and forth between Ken and what's his name? The
Describe him.
the douchey newer guy from
Luke.
Yeah, yes, Luke. He's not as douchey in this game. They made a point to make him less douchey. But
well,
he's like,
isn't he your like trainer in the?
Yeah, he's like basically the introductory like character. So I did it just because I'm most familiar with his stuff, and Ken as well. You can find him pretty early. So I can, when I beat someone who was spamming modern controls with Zangief. I felt happy about that, because that's the cheese in this game. You get like a grab character who put on modern controls where all the specials are one button, and Zangief's moves like do like a quarter or half damage if it hits.
To be fair, though, his moves are like impossible to pull off without
the modern controls.
Yeah, I know, they really are. That's why they have it. That's why they brought modern controls in.
I suppose. I feel like his pile driver thing, which is the full circle, I think, and a button.
Yeah, but the timing is tough.
Yeah, I guess it's no worse than a lot of that, the half circle thing.
Yeah.
I'm not to the point where I can get special moves to come out exactly when I need it, but I can sort of be in the neighborhood and it'll pop out eventually. So I'm not deep enough into this to be good at it, but I know you can sort of meter manage and grab and do that stuff to get away with it a bit, to beat some people who really don't know what they're doing. So it's interesting. I don't know how long I'm going to stay with it. The other thing I played, because I did go on a trip, and it was threatening to be rainy most of this trip. So I brought the Xbox, because I still have that box to transport it. and the PlayStation is untransportable. Um, without a
Little
box.
big, little big.
Yes. I mean, the Xbox would have been untransportable as well because it's so thick, but
Yeah.
I still had the box for it. So I got actually back into, because it's on Game Pass, the Hitman game, World of Assassination, the whole bundled all together version of the episodes that is now basically Hitman. And there's this new mode in it called, it was new in January, I believe, and it's called freelancer or something. Yeah, freelance contracts, and it's sort of like they build it up as a kind of like what's it called? It's a randomly generated sort of like each mission has specific targets. The objectives change, secondary objectives change. You get money. You build up a safe house, but roguelike. That's what I wanted to say. But once you fail it, you fail the whole thing, and all your progress goes away, and you get like maybe like a quarter of the money, and you got to start all over. And it's really hard because if you play Hitman before, like a lot of it is sort of trial and error, and it's almost too hard. I beat syndicates, but not a campaign because a campaign is like 4 x 4 missions basically. Just doing one to get to the end, I was happy to do that. I've done that 2 or 3 times. I'm like, ooh, I did it. But then I was like, wait, continue campaign. That wasn't the campaign. That's just 1/4 of it. So it's a fun game, but playing this game also just makes me look forward to what IO comes up with the James Bond's license eventually. I'm very curious to see where they go with that. But, you know, it's still solid. I don't know if you guys have ever played any of the Hitman games or not, but
Back in like
it's good stuff.
PlayStation 2 or something.
Like Xbox 360 days.
Yeah, well, this one you get a lot of content for this one on Game Pass. So if you want to look at it, you can do it. Yeah.
Well, what's insane is I forget I meant a couple months ago I was on the YouTube rabbit hole, and I started watching this one dude, I guess a Hitman streamer or something like that, where he ran contests, like random contests for the internet, like his channel or what. Anybody was able to enter, but like, on his channel, he was just like, "Hey, I'm running a contest. Came up with like a custom kill list for people to do and stuff like that. And on a particular stage, I forget how you load it up or whatever like that, because I think it was customized. But it's like, hey, you got to kill like 3 targets or something like that, and who, you know, top 5 people or whatever who kill all the targets and get away are gonna win money and stuff like that." And so he's just playing clips of like, he's like, these people did in like 30 seconds, and that's the number 5 winner. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, and it's so crazy. These people, it's just like, there's this one where like a guy goes onto the roof, and like the way the physics works in the game is he drops something random. I forget what it was, like something inconsequential, like a laptop or something like that, where it's like, it, you know, he just drops it so he could step onto it, which lets him like clip onto like the like top part of the roof or whatever like that, and then he snipes some dude. And it's like, who would have thought to, like, because the thing is, like, I guess there's loadouts, like, depending on where you start out in stage, you can, like, get, like, a costume, like, you'd be, like, a firefighter or whatever, and that'll give you access to areas because people don't question it, right?
Yeah.
And,
to earn that usually, but yeah.
But
like playing it earlier, but yeah.
But it's crazy because, like, somebody's like, yeah, like, I didn't understand because, like, this guy starts all the way out here and only comes with a laptop or whatever like that, and so it's like he zones in, drops a lap, or whatever it was, and just clips through and can kill a target.
It's like speedrunners, right?
Yeah, it's like speedrunners. And it's so crazy. Dude, it is so crazy because, like,
game's hard.
The timing on it is so ridiculous because he's like, there's this one character that, like, put poison, like, he was, like, undercover, like, race crew member. So he does something to tamper with something, goes away, like, plants something else here, and then goes over here, and then it's, like perfectly timed where it's like he sets off an explosive, causes all this commotion, so people are looking this way. So then this one NPC is like drinking his thing, so he dies. But because everybody else is looking that way, they don't see him die, so it doesn't count as being seen and stuff. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? These people are on a whole other level of like, damn, it's so fun.
I need to do more with the distractions, but I actually looked up to see if I was alone in my like difficulty with this. So I did a classic Google. It's like, Hitman freelancer mode is too hard, and there's whole Reddit streams of this, and if people are admitting a game is too hard on Reddit, which no one wants to do that because of their pride, it means it's really hard. So I don't know. Those people maybe can get through a full campaign, but I don't see myself ever doing that. And it was so funny. They actually, again, this was 6 or 7 months ago. This was new. I read something like IO actually addressed this, and they're like, they talked about all the complaints about the difficulty, or like why you lose certain things. It doesn't make sense. You lose stuff in your safe house when you like fail a mission and get back to it. But they went through the list of the complaints, and basically they said, get good, noobs. Pretty much, they're just like, we're committed to this. It wants it to feel like that roguelike or roguelite thing where it gets erased if you fail. So they addressed it all and said we're not changing anything anyway. So whatever. But it's fun though. But I don't think I'll ever actually do it.
All right. Yeah. So as Tony preluded to, or alluded to, I finished Tears of the Kingdom a couple days ago actually, and it was funny because I had my stepdaughter with me when I started the fight the first time, which is, so I had an idea of where I was in the game. I was like, okay, so I upgraded my tablet thing. I got the travel medallion thing, and it's funny because I kept dropping it in spots in the game, and I could leave and come back. So I dropped it in the one spot, and then I dropped down this ledge. Just to not give spoilers here, but I had no idea the fight that I was involved in. I had no gloom food whatsoever to restore any gloom. Now, when you have gloom in this game, you lose your hearts. You can't refill them. They just become cracked, and they go all the way down. So I had a lot of hearts in this game. I was really strong. Had the Master Sword. I had upgraded armor, but I didn't have any food. So I was like, I'll be okay, I think. And started the battle, and it's a long battle. First of all, it's a long way. This was like an insane trek to get to the final insane trek of. It reminded me of the original Legend of Zelda game, the original game in the 9th dungeon. How freaking crazy hard that was, unless you had like the red ring in that game to get through like that dungeon. It reminded me of all of that and how hard that dungeon was. So all of just to get to this fight was insane. But I got there, I refilled my hearts, I was great, and then I dropped down, and I started the last encounter fight, and took some damage. So when I get to the final boss, spoilers, it's Ganon, I guess. Big shock.
What?
Big shock. So when I get to Ganon, actually, I only had 4 hearts left. 4.
You got hit so much, dude.
Yeah. No. Well, I was a little bit. I have some frustrations with this game, and I will say one of the biggest frustrations I have with this game is the companion usage. It's when you're in a fight, especially the way that is, it's hard to use their abilities properly. Like I kept grabbing the wrong ones, and like one of the companions, in my opinion, is just useless. Like I just didn't feel like they had any point once you got through their trials, their temple, and I'm like, I didn't use their ability. Now that's not entirely true, but in combat they're useless. Like so, that's the best way for me to say it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but
I didn't even know there were companions. Spoiled.
They don't do a lot of damage. They're very immobile. I take a lot of damage, so I just never used them. But I kept accidentally clicking on them and jumping on their back, just to give away who this is, and getting hit. And you lose gloom. You lose your hearts when you get hit. All I'm trying to do is go for the woman that has the electric shock, and I'm like, I keep missing her, and I'm like, I need it. Get over here, and also the barrel roll guy. He's awesome. I'm not giving any names. I just want to give some. I'm trying not to do this with spoilers, but so I got to Ganon with 4 hearts left. Now, as an Elden Lord, I got some problems.
I don't think you should be using that title right now, but
yeah, I know. I got there with 4 hearts, but as an Elden Lord with some experience, I was like, let's see if I can pull this off. So I really, really got the parry, the rush down. I really got that timing down in this fight. You know how many times I died first to get that timing down? It was probably the first time I spent a lot of time in the game. I died multiple times. The worst part was at some point I dropped my travel token and it told me I couldn't leave. And I was like, oh shit. So how do I get out of this? So I had to reload my save, which I had to do to get out of there eventually. But I gave it like a great shot. I got him halfway down through phase 2. before I died multiple times. That I kept doing that, and little did I know what phase. Mild spoilers. What phase 3? If I had just made phase 3, I had a shot. I had a shot with 4 hearts.
I had a shot.
But so I left, reloaded. I cooked a ton of. I did look up how to the best gloom food. I did look that up online to find out what was the best cooked gloom food. So I did some side quests in this village, which was funny. It was a mayoral election thing I did. Fun quest line. That was a lot of fun. Unlocked some good food, and then I went back down there, and I probably used like the next time I did that big fight before Ganon, I didn't get touched. Like I was like, okay, I made it through that fight without getting hit, and I'm like, the real problem was my fight there, because if I got to Ganon with as many hearts as I did, I didn't even use food against him. I was fine because I already had the parry down too, the flurry rush thing. I had it down.
You had to go through it all, man, to get to that point though.
It was a learning curve, and man, I gotta say, this fight though was probably the most epic fight I've ever experienced. It definitely was any Zelda game. It was a phenomenal fight experience. It just kept upscaling itself over and over again at different phases. The game was phenomenal, and there are obviously some. I wish they had better sorting. I wish they had better, like, when you're trying to shoot an arrow at an enemy and you want to just get to the stuff quicker that you want. It's tough to kind of flip through everything, all your inventory to find stuff. I wish there was a little bit better management for that.
You know, they have like a most frequently used.
Yeah, they do. But in that fight, I was kind of going through a lot of my elemental stuff, and I really didn't touch too much of that. Really, I was using a lot of bomb stuff in the game, and I did use like some fire stuff, but I didn't touch much of like the water. And I was going through everything I had at a certain point in that fight. So it was a fun experience. Game was great. I do wish they used the Sky Islands more. In hindsight, I felt like the first temple was fucking incredible. Like, I am, like, we talked about it on this podcast, how amazing that nothing came close to that, in my opinion, for the rest of the game in terms of its scaling all the way up, and nothing came close to that in my opinion.
Yeah, Churro chimed in and said it's one of the best completions. You know, like, get your ass kicked, go back, make some food, help a mayor get elected, and save a kitten from a tree and then not need any of it.
That's exactly what it was, Churro. Like, I got there and I used two gloom foods to restore 8 hearts, and that was about all I needed. Not knowing that, like, if I had just gotten to the 3rd phase, I would have been okay. I thought I was gonna get okay when I got to that phase. I was like, oh, they gotta get rid of my gloom before I start this, right? No, they didn't. I would say that I do wish the Master Sword, like, when you're not using it, like, if let's say you unequip it, it should recharge itself. Not wait to shatter before it recharges. I do think they should change that in the next game. But a couple gripes I had. But overall, the game was fantastic, phenomenal. Definitely, obviously, Game of the Year option. I don't even know how it gets beat. But Jedi Survivor is the next game I've started playing now.
Churro asked the question, though. Did you ever fuse it?
Oh, yeah. So I fused it, Churro, by the way. And I didn't realize that... It took me a while to realize that using the Zonai... devices to fuse really weakens the durability of a weapon. Like, I didn't know that.
If you listen to us for a while, you'll know it takes Jim a while to figure out how to upgrade his things.
So I'd fuse the like the soldier stuff, like I'd fuse that to that, and then the sword would break faster. So I'm like, I'm not gonna really fuse too much.
I don't think that's right.
It broke faster. I read online that that's an actual thing. If you fuse Zonai devices to like shields, they break faster. I did read that online now. I read that today. I was reading that. So I didn't read that before. But I did read that.
I thought you were talking about the Master Sword.
No, I was talking about the Master Sword. I seem to break faster for me. Maybe I'm just hitting more things with it when I have it. I don't know. But like again, like swiping at trees with that, it's the Master Sword. That shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, I also felt weird fusing items to the Master Sword. Is that weird, Sam? But
it is weird.
Well, sure. What'd you say? I didn't realize I could. Till Ganon. Oh, you didn't realize you could fuse things. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. I had a couple of Zonai weapons with me, but again, the Master Sword against Ganon was really all I needed. But and some arrows and bombs. But it was fun. It was a really fun fight. Really fun story.
Cool. I mean, that really helps elevate a game. Where, like, Tony was talking earlier about Final Fantasy, and then it just kind of goes off the rails at the end. Where here you have Zelda, that's great, and then it just elevates it when you're getting that climax.
Yeah, it definitely stuck the landing, and I was worried because you get worried about these games if they can't stick the landing because they're so good. And it definitely stuck the landing, and I was very happy for that. Like again, I'm playing Jedi Survivor now, and I am like, this game is phenomenal. Like, wow, I mean, it's not going to beat Tears of the Kingdom to me. I don't think a game of the year, but it's so good. Like, I gotta really mention this. Even our Game of the Year podcast, I'm talking about this game more. It looks fantastic. I did have a game crash twice on me, which was frustrating. And yeah, that because it's all meditation point saving. So like, it crashed and I was fine. I had just beaten. I'm going to Jeddah, Mike. I'm just leaving for Jeddah, which is So I just beat somebody pretty big in the game. Like, it was a surprise that I had to go fight somebody. I just finished that encounter, and then I get out and the game crashed, and I was like, okay, I didn't get to the meditation point, so I had to redo that fight.
I'm sure it's still a little rough around the edges. It was for me. I actually had a glitch very similar to what Tony had, where certain abilities just weren't popping for me for my character.
I have seen that a few times too. Okay.
So I just had to reload, and eventually it worked. But
you know what's for me? It's funny. The mind control doesn't work much.
Well, no, there's certain you have to upgrade it because certain characters are like too strong for it to work on them.
I don't even get the option sometimes to try it.
Yeah, for certain characters you can't.
Oh, it just blocks it then? Okay, I thought you could still try it and fail. So okay.
No, I don't think it'll even highlight them.
It is a great. Again, we're talking about sequels and how Tears of the Kingdom improved upon Breath of the Wild. So did Jedi Survivor on Fallen Order. So yeah, they've improved on that game tenfold. Made a kind of a home base kind of option too. You can build up a base, it looks like, a little bit here, like build up a community. And it's really good. The story has been excellent, and it's High Republic information, which I don't know much about. So it's kind of cool to dive into. I really like Cal. I like the character. I like
he's definitely more of a character this time around.
Yeah, he's got more emotion this time around. Yeah.
And it also helps you can customize him a bunch now.
Yes. The mullet, I got a mullet look, and I'm like, I don't want a mullet look on him.
You can make him look cool or ridiculous if you want, instead of just like, him in the first man.
I think at every workbench I change my lightsaber color.
Nice.
But you should see some of the creations people do eventually with the lightsabers. Some people go crazy with it.
Yeah, right now I'm doing blue and orange. I'm a Met fan, so but there's some customization. It's really good. They really did a great job with this game. I just wish it wasn't quite as buggy as it is at this point. It's been 3 months, 2 months this game come out. So 4 months.
It's been a while now.
February? Didn't it come out in February?
I think it came out in April.
No. This is the one that got delayed by a month. So it was either late March or late April. I don't remember.
Yeah. So I think it was late April, and so it's been out for enough to and it had a patch like last week.
Got a couple patches, yeah.
Yeah. But it's good though. Respawn does a great job with Star Wars so far. They've done a great job, and I'm happy to hear they've started their work on a new game for Star Wars. So, but all right, Corey, what have you been playing?
It's just Diablo still. Really just been grinding down on that and getting ready for season 1. Season 1's coming 20th, which is pretty quick, and so it'll be interesting to see how they do with that, because there was some updates that they've implemented before, and there's going to be one on the 18th where they're going to implement some more like new stuff that's coming. So pretty exciting. See.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's on my list. I have Jedi Survivor and Hogwarts to finish, and then I'll be on Diablo. So Jedi Survivor's not going to take me long. It's not that big, right? Is it, Mike?
It depends on how much you want to do. I got 70 hours out of it doing everything I could with the side stuff. There's a lot of side stuff.
I organically have done some side stuff. Like the way I play the game is like, why would my guy go over here if there's like a major mission I'm on? Like, I'm not going to do this. Like, that's my problem with open world games. I'm like, I don't care that you're flagging me down with a mission right now. I'm supposed to be over here.
I mean, I will say that, or at least the first part of the story, it's not very urgent early on. What you're doing. Yeah. You're just sort of trying to like.
Yeah, the story just started pretty much. So.
Yeah. But if you stick to just the golden path, you can beat this game in like probably 10 hours, I think.
Yeah,
it's not long if it's just the story.
I've done a couple of the Jedi trial stuff.
Yeah,
much.
that is the thing though. You do want to upgrade your shit, so
Yeah.
you do want to like do all those. And
These are the temples, basically. The shrines.
Yeah, they're basically
yeah,
temples.
there's
Puzzles.
actually one that it turned out I was overthinking. I actually left and came back to
It's
with
all
that
like
one.
it's all basically like move an orb here, move an orb there to make a bridge, and then how you creatively do it. So,
Yeah.
that's how you have to do it. It's nothing like crazy, but so
Nice.
all right. Anyways, guys, let's go into what do we have for some news? Got. Let's see.
Is there news?
Pretty big
Yeah.
news.
We have a couple things.
Mhm.
So EA, let's do EA first. EA announces a Black Panther game coming from Cliffhanger Games. So now we have Iron Man, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Black Panther coming. Did I miss one?
And Black Panther.
Wasn't
Black
there
Panther.
yet? Wasn't there a Captain America
Yeah.
Black Panther game coming?
Oh yes, that's right, that one.
This
yes.
is the second.
There was
one.
someone else in that too. So
So we have a lot of Marvel games coming from all different studios.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe one of them will be good.
I don't know anything about Cliffhanger.
I don't know much about
I
them.
feel like they haven't existed before, have they? Just a new studio.
Yeah,
I
I haven't heard anything about them.
I don't know much about Cliffhanger Games, so I have no idea either. But it's interesting. We'll see what we get with it.
I mean, you can get Avengers right now for like $6 on Steam
also-
summer sale.
It's also
This is the last time you're gonna be able to get it, I think, too, because they're delisting it in September. I want to say because it's X many years.
it's
or something.
done. Yeah.
But you can play it single player. It'll have all the things unlocked and whatnot. So maybe for $6, preservation wise, pick up a disc or something. Just be like, cool, whatever, stuff like that. But I mean, you guys like fucking Midnight Suns, right? So what do you guys talking about? Marvel
I
quality.
really enjoyed it. I love Midnight
Okay.
Suns.
Yeah,
Like
but
you did too.
it's a I know, but it's a different thing, really. It's not trying to be a traditional action game.
I mean, there's been plenty of good Marvel games besides Avengers recently. Like Spider-Man was great.
Yeah.
So,
And that was it.
Ultimate Alliance 3 was on Switch. That was fine.
That was disappointing overall.
You
I
need
played
more-
it, I liked
need
it,
more.
but it was disappointing overall, I would say.
Okay.
Definitely felt undercooked that game, Mike. I get what you're saying. All right. Microsoft wins U.S. court nod to buy Activision and FTC loss. So last week we were talking about the FTC Microsoft court arguments and how things were coming out like crazy about like numbers and everything. So their arguments, apparently they won the fight, which is this ever happened? Have they ever overturned an FTC decision?
I don't know.
This is it does say unprecedented.
closely. Yeah.
No.
Well,
unprecedented.
it's just crazy because I mean, this is the first one under the new head. I forget her name of the FTC right now.
Yeah.
So I think she was trying to make a name for herself or whatever. But they just fucked up their arguments, and they were arguing more for how bad it would be for Sony, rather how bad it would be for gamers and the industry. Like, I don't even think they talked about the industry, which is what I would have been like. You're talking about absorbing one of the top 2 publishers in the world, and suddenly you have to have layoffs. There's going to be one less company for people to go to, this and the other thing. So they didn't even talk about it. They're just like, oh, PlayStation. It's like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god.
We talked about it last week with that. And that was their flaws last week. I mean, we said it was bad arguments from them either way, because again, we said it, like, it was more about how does this affect gaming and gamers, not about what Sony's bottom line looks like because of what Microsoft's
I mean, the point is, and this is sort of why I'm surprised there was even this much of a fight, you just need 2. You just need 2 viable things to compete against each other. And if they determined that Sony was the number 1 competitor, so if it would remain viable with this happening, then that's why they went this way, I guess. So I mean,
did UK reconsider as well? Did it say?
They're
I
negotiating.
don't think they cared. I think
they're negotiating now.
So that's going to change. So this is happening.
This is pretty much happening at this point now.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I think FTC has a few days to appeal as well.
Yeah, they have until Friday.
Who do they appeal to, though?
They just appeal in court.
Yep.
It's very confusing to me.
So Microsoft. appealed their decision in court. That's what
I
happened.
mean, if the opposite happened, Microsoft would have appealed it too. So I mean, that was the thing.
Sure.
Either way, it was getting appealed. So it just looks less likely now, and it's just because the FTC flubbed their arguments and fucking Jim Ryan fucking. You think for a dude that's getting paid that much, he would have a better argument himself. I'm just like,
yeah,
okay.
I think Sony got way too involved, and I think that caused more of the problem. I think Sony got way too involved in this case.
Well, they got way too involved, but they did it from the eye perspective and not the industry perspective again, and the consumer perspective, right? Yeah. So it is what it is. We'll see the FTC. Because again, it's the whole bullshit. It's like, oh, we're Microsoft. We're a $1 trillion company. We can't compete with Sony. It's like, what the fuck? Shut up. Like,
you could have made this. You know how many studios you could have made for? Was it $69
billion? Yeah. Oh, by the way, they announced more layoffs today at Microsoft. So
I did see that they were doing that. Yeah. They were laying off more people because that someone got paid for that $69 billion.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. Game Pass prices are going to go up again next year. Just you wait.
Oh yeah. Once that
it's
first.
It's gonna be a yearly thing.
Yeah. Like $2 a year, you think, or $1 a year?
They'll do it slowly, but I mean, there's no way it's sustainable at the price it's going to be at.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was another hike right before Starfield now, actually. But we'll see.
They just did one though. I don't think so. So, I don't think so. But I'm interested in Starfield though. I'm looking forward to that. I think. I mean, there's room. You could be Game of the Year, Starfield. It could happen. I mean, Zelda was great.
They sold me on their last trailer, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Again, I'm trying. I mentioned this in the Discord. I'm trying to temper my hype for it because I'm getting too into it already. Yeah, and I'm just like, no, this could be bad. This is. This could just be Fallout 4 in space.
Look what No Man's Sky pulled on people. It could have been originally.
Yeah. No, that's why.
I mean, I fully expect to not care about the majority of those planets.
There's no way.
Either way, even if it's a good game, I fully expect I'm not going to care to visit most of them unless I'm really grinding for shit. But
that's the thing for me is like Tears of the Kingdom was a phenomenal game, and I think I paid 60. It was 65 plus for me. I logged, which is less than Tony. What'd you do? 90 plus, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But I had my fill of the game for me. That's for me. I don't want to play a game that long, honestly, anymore. There's so much out there I want to play. I want to experience the majority of what a game can give me. I don't need to go out and find out this giant that's in the corner of the universe. And there was a whole thing I saw in the corner of the map I never went to in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, interesting. I don't know what it was, but it's over there. So it's like, I have my fill of games. There's so many other games I want to play. I still want to play Advance Wars 1 and 2. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Street Fighter 6, Mike. I haven't really played much of that yet. So 65 hours. I think I don't want to play 100 hours for a game. So it's like Starfield. If it takes 100 hours to beat the campaign, I'm not going to be in love with that at all.
Well, they also, since I am too hyped, I'm following a lot of news. The main campaign is only going to be about 30 hours, it said.
And that's fine. That's perfect.
It's not particularly long.
But that's perfect because if you do a mixed blend like I like to do, that'll be about 55, 60 hours.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Yeah. So that's perfect for me. That's because Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, okay, I love this game, but I'm ready to go to another game and I want to finish it, and that's where I got to with the game. So, and it's just because hours played, I don't have as much time to dedicate to something like that. So, but all right, anything else to cover, guys? I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
So that's gonna wrap up this episode, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again. We're live Twitch Tuesday nights 8:00, so please join us live. Churro, thanks for joining us again. We appreciate it. We're on YouTube the following day, so please tune into there, subscribe to that, leave us a comment over there, give us a thumbs up, and we'd love to hear comments from you guys on either channel. So tune in. We'll see you guys next week. That'll do it. We're out. See ya.